Hey, what's up, Roxstars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog, so let's get to it. I say I'm gonna take some time off, y'all.
All the cashiers, they was like, somebody stole her truck. It was like you could hear it all throughout the store.
This Rox coming to you today with a review for Love and Marriage Detroit, Love and Marriage Huntsville, our book 4, Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let's get to it, shall we? All right, Roxstars, what I decided to do with this top of the blogs is it's just going to be this one top of the blogs, and then I am going to also review Cardi B's album. So that is going to be the next video. I'm not going to do 2 top of the blogs because I feel like all this I have for Cardi B's album is going to take up a whole video anyway. So that's what we'll do. So you guys stay tuned. That will be up after this video loads. Okay, first story up. I'm glad to see that none of you were caught up in the rapture that was supposed to happen. What day was that? On Tuesday? Child, I know I saw on TikTok. I scroll TikTok occasionally, even though I'm not really active on TikTok. I still go over there. And they were talking about this rapture coming up. But because I've just been kind of like keeping my head out of all kind of things, like I haven't been looking at political videos, and I told you guys all of that. So that was kind of falling under the political videos purview. I just was like, I don't even care. I don't even care. I know that we're going to be just fine. I'm not going to give it much energy. That's how I've been with a lot of things lately. Anyway, I didn't think it was anything else serious until I saw Ashley talking about it, the whole thing. And I was like, oh, is this really a thing? Like, people are really believing this? I did not know that it had picked up that type of steam. But yeah, it did. And of course, we as Black people, we don't take nothing serious. So all over social media, those who did not believe that the rapture was going to happen anyway, we all had a good little kiki about it. But I don't really know where it came from. I didn't even research the story long enough or give it any kind of thought really, other than where did that actually start? Who came up with that day? I guess the 21st, the 22nd, that was the 22nd, right? No, that was the 23rd. How did that date even come about? Where did it start? Do any of you guys know? Anyway, that's not the first story. I just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. First story up, you guys, Jimmy Kimmel. Child, so much happened since the last time I talked to you guys about Jimmy Kimmel. Last week when I was telling you guys that Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air, indefinitely so, because of the things that he had to say about that man who had been shot and killed. I told you guys last week that the current administration was on this rampage and that they basically was trying to make sure that people have to cater to their every whim and that it'll eventually become a dictatorship, okay? The first order of business is to attack people's freedom of speech. But that is one of the principles that this country was built on, and I guess people let Disney and Hulu, actually it's Disney is owned by Hulu, but Hulu is owned by Disney, but I think the people finally let them know that we not really gonna stand for this whole thing here. The whole idea that you guys can just, if you don't like what somebody says on TV, then you can take them off the air. Okay? That has never been something that we've had to contend with, but that's a reality now. And it's funny because Stephen Colbert had the same, this same thing happened to Stephen Colbert, except that he's able to finish out his season. He's able to finish out his contract, I believe it is, and then they're going to let him go. It was different because it was like immediate with Jimmy Kimmel. I'm assuming that YSAP made some calls and Disney felt the pressure, and they succumbed to it. And you know what? The people was not really going to put up with Disney doing that. Like I said, Disney owns Hulu. And so how do we get to these people, and let them understand that we not going to deal with this. If you're going to be feeling like you have to start removing people from their jobs on television, then you know what? We're not going to support you guys. So all of those people that were subscribed to Hulu and Disney, we had a monumental amount. I think they said, I didn't even put the number in here, you guys, but it was in the millions of subscribers who canceled their Hulu. And it was the hugest hit financially, of course, to Disney, who already is ridiculous with how much money Disney makes. I mean, just thinking about the damn Disneyland, Disney World, Disney, Tokyo and Paris and all this, the money that they make, and it never feels like you can touch these people, like when they make this mega amount of money. But they obviously forgot that, you know, the subscribers are really the ones that keep that network alive. And yeah, people put their money where their mouth was and just was like canceling the service. So much so that, from what I understand, you know, Disney had to go on and approach Jimmy Kimmel and say, hey, listen, wait a minute, hold on, my bad. We was just, we don't have to do this. Yeah, money always talks. We already learned that with the Target situation, even though, you know, we know that the CEO, he ended up getting, laid off or whatever, but he still got a tremendous severance package and all that. So, you know, that is what it is. But what I'm saying is, like, it was nice to see that the people were the reason why that huge company, I mean, Disney is a huge ass company, that they actually had to really kind of turn around and say, oh no, wait, we can't do this because we cannot afford to upset our people like this. Okay, so they brought him back. And you guys know, I've always told you guys that I love Jimmy Kimmel. I just really like his talk show style. I've always been a fan of Jimmy Kimmel's, you know, and like a lot of Jimmy Kimmel and Conan O'Brien and David Letterman and like all those kind of people, like those are the people that shape the reason why I like to get on the camera and do this. Like, I'm not a talk show host or anything, but like I listen to their jokes and their timing, and you know, I just admire the fact that they've been talk show hosts and all. I like these people, you know. So I was sad for Jimmy because I don't think that Jimmy is a mean-spirited or a hateful person at all. And I thought that was very unfair for them to do that to him. But like I said, I think that they realized that, one, Jimmy is loved by a lot of people, but it didn't even really become, the story got so big that it wasn't even about Jimmy anymore. And that's what he explained in his monologue when he came back onto the TV, was that even the people on the other side, the far right, okay, maybe even they even realize that this is dangerous ground to be on. Like, you should not be telling people that they cannot say this. And like Jimmy Kimmel pointed out about Ted Cruz, you know, that could be even dangerous for conservatives. Like, you know, once you start like not being able to say these things. So with everybody chiming in on both sides of the aisle, I guess Sapp and his junk drawer just could not, you know, they could not let it go that this happened, you know, under their watch. So magically so, you know, now Jimmy Kimmel is back on his show. I don't know when his contract runs out, but if I was Jimmy, I would be like, fuck y'all. He still wants to be on network TV and all that, so that's probably why he won't. But then again, network TV is not the same as it used to be because of our government and the way that they, you know, dip their hand in every single thing and every single aspect of our lives. This whole situation with the Tylenol and the acetaminophen, and the motherfucker couldn't even say acetaminophen, like, you know, and how they're saying that causes autism in children, and how, I mean, I took Tylenol. I didn't want to take any medication when I was pregnant. I don't think most women do want to take medication because you know that you're incubating a baby, right? But I never have headaches. But when I was pregnant with Jada, that last trimester, I had migraines, terrible migraines. Like, I never ever had headaches. They were watching my blood pressure because they wasn't really sure why I was having these headaches. But in the meantime, they prescribed me Tylenol, okay? Tylenol with codeine. And, you know, we took it very sparingly and all, but never did I feel like my child was going to get autism, you know, become autistic because of that. You know, I know that there's always been, I've heard talks about, you know, people thinking that some vaccines cause autism and things like that. I've never even researched it long enough or really seriously enough to know if that is or is not true. And I know people feel the way that they feel about it. But when you start like putting these blanket claims over things like this, I mean, that can truly affect this nation and our children. the health of our children and everything. I don't feel like preaching. But getting back to Jimmy, I was happy to see that he's back, but yeah, the damage is done, and I'm sure that he feels a way about his superiors. I have Disney, and I have Hulu. I don't pay for Disney, okay, in my house, so I don't know who pays for that, but you know, that's on them. But my Hulu, the only reason I told you guys in my Reasonable Doubt videos is that the only reason that I am still keeping Hulu is so I can watch Reasonable Doubt and give you guys the reviews. But I'm telling you, when this season is over, I'm canceling, and I'm going to not worry about Reasonable Doubt until it comes back. You know, I'll probably watch it bootleg, because that's what I did with Force, Tommy's show, because I had canceled my Stars, and I was like, I'm not getting Stars back. The only reason why I was keeping Stars was for P-Valley and Power, and when P-Valley went off and then Power was taking forever to come back, I was just like, fuck this show. I mean, this channel, you know. And so I watched all of Force last year on the bootleg on some kind of website. I found it somewhere, and I watched Mr. World Premiere or something like that. So I'll do the same with Reasonable Doubt, because I still feel a way about it. And I felt bad that I wasn't able to be a part of the thing. Like, fuck you. I wanted to be a part of that group too, but you know, I'm gonna keep it just for Reasonable Doubt. But yeah, you guys, it's more of the same, just more of the same. I'm gonna just keep on telling y'all make sure that you vote in the midterm elections. Okay, you make sure you do it. And you know, we got a long time. We still have a year before we can even get to those elections. Can you imagine what all's gonna happen in that year? It ain't even been a year that the motherfucker been in the seat right now. And look at all the shit that didn't happen. So it's just gonna be more chaos. So that's why I keep on saying, you make plans. I don't give a fuck what you got to do. You make plans to bring your ass to that damn voting booth next November. Okay? All right, let's move on to the next story. Mackenzie Scott, you guys know who she is. She is the ex-wife of Jeff Bezos, the owner of Amazon, you know, billionaire. Remember when they got the divorce and she got pretty much half of his money, okay? And that was just billions of dollars. And you know, one person cannot spend billions of dollars. And so Mackenzie was just like, yeah, I'm gonna give all this money away. So she started selecting different organizations and charities and whatnots where that she could give her money and make her best, you know, make the best attempt at making a change in a whole bunch of folks' lives. So we've known that she's made some other donations. Gosh, I didn't even put them in my notes because I just wanted to talk about this donation in particular, which was to UNCF. UNCF is the United Negroes College Fund, and she donated $70 million. Now, she had already told us that she was going to do it. Okay, and then she put her money where her mouth was, and she went on and donated the $70 million to UNCF to be able to help HBCUs. You guys know that YSAP, in all his sweeping redlining and crossing out and getting rid of, he also said that he was taking away like $350 million in funding for HBCUs. So, and he even took away funding for all these other colleges too. So it's not even just HBCUs, but in this case, we're talking about the HBCUs. He had took away all this funding, and Mackenzie and other people too have made it a point to, you know, try to bridge the gap, fill in the moat, I guess you would call it, and still make it be so that these colleges, these universities, you know, that are historically black are still able to function. We already know that most of the HBCUs, I mean, I don't even know if we know that, but a lot of them struggle financially. They just don't get the money the same way that other PWIs do. So yeah, that money is necessary. So she gave her money, and she actually put her money in a pool of like this bigger fund that, you know, other donations and other people have given, and they are actually doling the money out to the different universities. I think they said it was going to be $10 million to a university. You know, the university has to do certain things to qualify to make sure that they can get this money and whatnots. But yeah, they're going to dole the money out to all these different universities. And I don't know how many HBCUs there are. I guess I could have researched that as well. But I'm sure that every single one of those, all the way up to the Ivy Leagues of the HBCUs, your Hamptons, and yeah, I'm sure even they is going to take that money gratefully so, because we've seen even they've had struggles, you know. So yeah, Mackenzie Scott, like, she's all right with me, because she could very easily give that money to anywhere else. And she has not, and she also kept her word. So yeah, I think that is something to commend. Thank you, Mackenzie Scott, for realizing that all these schools need is just the chance to be able to, you know, help these kids so that they can actually graduate and be something else. It's all about trying to better, you know, this Black community. Some people need that help. So thank you very much for Mackenzie Scott, and let's move on to the next story. Well, many of you guys will be happy to hear that on September 17th, which was my brother Brian's birthday. Happy belated birthday, Brian. Anyway, on September 17th, Mr. Kelvin Evans was arrested and booked by the Hateville Police Department for busting out the back window of Beyonce's like senior lead dancers. Remember, they were parked at the MARTA station, I think it was, or they were parked in the parking lot of a MARTA station, and they had left the car there and went and did whatever they were going to do. And when they came back, they saw that the shit was busted out, and that whoever broke into the car took all the shit out of it, which included the laptops and the hard drives of like unreleased music from Beyonce and that. Okay, you guys remember Beyonce was here for the Cowboy Carter tour when this happened. So yeah, he got all of that shit, and we didn't know what the fuck. You know, we didn't know what the fuck, but the dancers was all upset and all that. They had called the police and all that. Okay, well, fast forward to like September 17th, like I said, the police were still investigating and were still trying to, you know, get hard onto Kelvin Evans' trail. And they saw that Kelvin Evans had borrowed his niece's rental car. It was a Hyundai Elantra, and he actually drove it to the station, broke into the car, took all the contents, and then drove off. So the cameras in the area must have caught who it was, researched who rent that car, and then talked to that niece, and that niece was probably like, oh, my uncle took that car that day, I didn't know he was doing. Okay, and then that's how they ended up with that damn uncle. Okay, they said that the contents of the car, though, has still not come up. So this man has been booked into the Fulton County jails, and he's sitting over there waiting, I guess, for his hearing or whatnots, but they still have not recovered what was taken. I'm sure that Beyonce is not going to release that music. That music probably will eventually end up on the web, you know, the World Wide Web, but it'll probably just be some music that's floating around that, you know, people be like, oh yeah, this is that music or something like that. I mean, it hasn't shown up yet, so I don't know, you know. Maybe Mr. Evans will let the authorities know where the contents of that car went, but as of now, yeah, they don't have any of that. But like I said, I bet you Beyonce probably just has to scrap that, which is unfortunate. Okay, or maybe she doesn't. What do you guys think? I mean, would she? Beyonce doesn't strike me as the type to use music that's already could potentially be out there for people to hear. Okay, she likes the whole element of surprise. She likes all of that. So I can't imagine her keeping that. But shit, that's probably, you know, or maybe they would have to tweak the music and all that. But yeah, anyway, child. Kelvin, they got the man, and now the question is, Kelvin, where the shit at? Okay, bringing the shit back. Okay, you guys, let's just have a conversation. Now, this is not going to be a long conversation because I'm probably going to upset some people. Okay, but that's never my intention. But you know, some of you guys are probably going to get rubbed the wrong way on this one. Well, you know, people been wanting me to talk about this pretty privilege and pretty punishment. And I'm just going to tell you guys that while I do believe that pretty privilege and pretty punishment, they both exist. I do believe that they both exist. I'm still never going to believe that pretty people are punished more than they are afforded the privilege to advance in whatever they're trying to do. I'm just never going to ever believe that most pretty people are punished because of how they looked. No, I don't feel like, and I know that the people that are going to kind of argue with me are people that are pretty, that have faced some challenges. But what I will say to pretty people who face the challenges is, you pretty and you face these challenges. Imagine if you was ugly and you did. Okay, I'm sure the ugly people get way more punishment than pretty people do. So I just don't, you know, I just don't think that. But when they talked about this on Shade Room, and you know, the topic came up because Saweetie said that she's punished more than she is celebrated because she's pretty, you know, I just was like, Saweetie, I'm sure everybody has said this, but I'm just going to add the same commentary, which is, you know, sweetie, you are a beautiful girl. Yes. Okay. You can't rap. All right. I mean, you rap like kind of like how I rap. Okay. It ain't like I'm going to be a rapper no damn where. But, you know, and that's kind of how it is. The reason why people like Saweetie, or at least the reason why I thought that I liked Saweetie, is because, yeah, she don't rap all that good, but she is cute. She gets a cute little bop. And I can appreciate that. You know, I actually like the fact that you're a pretty rapper. You know, it's like, no, I just know. Girl, people are not pumping your music up because you just don't have good music. I mean, the music is fine to me, but I'm talking about for the masses. The masses are probably like, girl, we ain't liking your music, that's why. Okay? Has nothing really to do with the fact that she's pretty. And so we are not going to listen to her music. So I just was like, but yeah, I do believe that pretty punishment happens. You know, sometimes you might go try to work at a job and somebody is just pulling up at my house. I'm sorry, you guys, I was distracted. But what I was saying was that, yeah, pretty punishment. I can think of an example, like, you know, you might go work at a job and, you know, you might have a supervisor who is, you know, facially challenged a little bit. Okay. And then you come in as this sparkling girl, you know, beautiful on the outside. And then maybe you even have this sparkling personality and everybody likes that, you know, about you. And so, you know, they all tend to gravitate towards you. And so everybody loves you, but you know who don't? Your ugly supervisor, you know? And so then when your ugly supervisor don't like you for just the simple fact that you are a good looking person, and then they try to make your job more difficult for you just for that fact, then yes, that is pretty punishment, you know? And I know that happens, but it's still, I'm not going to believe it. You know, I'm just not going to believe it. Just like I don't know if I feel like light-skinned people face as much. I'm not saying that light-skinned people don't face it at all, but I'm not going to believe that light-skinned people face as much like colorism. Well, not the word. That's not the word. They don't face as much as like a dark-skinned person is. Like, what is the word? I cannot think of it, you guys. But you guys know what I'm saying. Like, it's the same thing for me. Like, even though I know light-skinned people are punished for a lot for the reason, just the simple fact that they're light-skinned, I still feel like my dark-skinned sisters and brothers have it a little worse. And I think that dark-skinned women have it even worse than dark-skinned men. Okay? So yeah, I know that's going to upset somebody. I don't feel like I've said anything real deep or anything, but that's just really truly how I feel. I just you know, when we talking about Saweetie, girl, that ain't pretty punishment. Okay? But yes, it does exist, you know. So you guys let me know what you think about that. Okay, do you have a real pretty friend? Are you a real pretty person? And you can give us your experiences on that, because I know that, you know, but I would also like for the pretty people who just know that a lot of the reason why they have been able to advance is because the way that they look. I would like for you guys to admit that as well. Okay? Yeah. Put that all in the comments below. Lastly, you guys, in quickies, honey, Jocelyn. You guys see the video that Jocelyn be posting of her little girl? That little girl is so sweet. I was like, Jocelyn, that little girl's the best thing that happened to her. And today she posted a video, like a couple of videos of a little girl like doing cartwheels and running to Jocelyn's husband. Are they married? I'm not sure. You know, whoever he is, y'all know who I'm talking about. But I just love the relationship because Jocelyn has always made that girl look like a little girl. The little girl still sounds like a little girl. She treats her like a little girl. And the little girl, I mean, you know, it just does my heart good for Jocelyn to be exactly who Jocelyn is, but still to have a little girl like her. Just, you know, I love it. But anyway, child, Jocelyn said that Yandy and Rashida both need to leave Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Now, anytime you got Jocelyn weighing in on what they should and shouldn't be doing on Love and Hip Hop, and you know you got something there. I won't say that they're too old for the show, you know, because everybody can be on a reality show, but I will say that they have really sold out their relationships and their lives for that show. And I guess the money is good and everything, but like, look, Yandy and Mendices, if it is indeed true, like, you know, their relationship is on the ropes, and, you know, Rashida has just made herself look like a damn fool over there. And it's just like, for what? For what? You know? But I mean, Jocelyn, you know, Jocelyn was a part of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and Jocelyn had a whole lot of bullshit going on her show. I guess her show don't quite act like that anymore. But, you know, Jocelyn has still dealt with a lot of ignorant shit, too, on her show. But maybe now Jocelyn is getting more mature and realizing that, you know, how long you gonna keep on doing this same shit? Honey, I guess if you ask Rashida, baby, they gonna keep it going as long as Mona and the rest of them pay them that money. But yeah, it's time. But who am I? I don't watch the show anymore. I saw though that Mama D and Bambi, for now, because we know how that Mama D does. But for now, you know, they've decided to agree to disagree on the past, but try to move forward, you know, in a more positive way. I feel like I've seen them have this conversation many times, but I guess we'll try it again, you know. But yeah, just anyway. And lastly, congratulations are in order to our girl, Rihanna, and her man, A$AP Rocky. I know people are saying that they're married. I still don't think that they are. But anyway, congratulations to them. Their baby, their bouncing baby girl, was born on September 13th, I think it was. And they have named her Rocky Irish Mayers. Named after her most favoriteest Amy. Oh, Rocky over here. That's why I wore my hat today, you guys, even though it says Rox. But you guys know that not most of my family, but a good amount of my family call me Rocky, because that's my nickname. So I kind of felt like, you know, I felt like she was naming her after her Amy. I posted a picture of her, you know, she posted the picture the other day. And the baby just as cute as can be. Just a cute little teeny tiny little eensy mincy wincy teensy. She's all pink and all that. I was just so happy for her. Baby is beautiful. I don't know how much she weighed, but yeah, just she's named after her Amy. You know I love that name, Rocky. Congratulations to the happy couple. All right, you guys, that is that on that. Let me get on off of here. We do this every single week, so make sure you thumbs up the video, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back. Until next time, Roxstars, bye.